Hey everybody, it's me, Sven here, bringing you day number 248 of Let's Talk About Autism. Before we get started, I'd love you to hit the like and subscribe buttons down below the video. It will help me out tremendously. So today is another video about the Autistic Detransitioners. It's a series within a series where I talk about the stories of autistic detransitioners. And today, this one is about a story that went viral back in March of this year. It was before I started this series, so I didn't have much time to cover it, but the name is Dominick Dunlap. And he's a guy who was most likely on the spectrum, not diagnosed, but he was most likely on the spectrum. He was easygoing, he was funny, he was a chill guy, and was doing pretty well for his adult years. Like, he got a pretty good job and even bought a home, which is unprecedented for someone on the spectrum. I mean, he wasn't diagnosed, so, you know, most likely he wasn't subject to special needs or anything, but he was doing pretty well in his young adult years. And he could also solve a Rubik's Cube super fast, like within a minute. So he was just a regular guy, probably on the spectrum, who did fine up until COVID happened. And because of the isolation, you know, he was most likely on the spectrum, so it was hard for him to make friends. And because of that isolation, he probably lost his job for all I know. I'll link to his story down in the description. You can read it in full. But according to his mother, he's most likely on the spectrum. But yeah, COVID kind of wrecked everything. It shoved him into his own house, and he was isolated for months and went into depression because of it, and ultimately ended up finding online chat groups and he was on for months. Who knows what platform he was on? It could have been Tumblr, DeviantArt, or Reddit, whichever one. You know, it ultimately caused him to think he was trans toward the end of the COVID lockdown, so in the spring of 21. So, and this obviously shocked his mom because there was no evidence that he was ever experiencing dysphoria before this, and even had fatherly aspirations, kind of like I do today. But he later said he was trans because of isolation and being in online chat groups that probably groomed him, even though he was an adult. And so he went into taking hormones later, about a year later in 22. So his mother did what he could, but the system was obviously rigged against her, and they made him trans, and he went on hormones at 26, just a year after he claimed his trans identity. And this was in the spring of 22. So, and blood clots run in this guy's family. The Dunlap family has blood clots running in the family. So, because of that, the estrogen that Dominick was put on did a lot of harm. Like, he might have had the initial euphoria, at least for a little bit, but it ultimately caused a lot of harm. He had chest pain, he had blood clots, of course, and he had all sorts of problems. And sadly, he passed away exactly 2 years ago today on December 6th, 2023. And it was heartbreaking. And the sign of regret in Dominick before he passed away, he moved in with his mother and was experiencing tons of pain in the weeks leading up to his passing. And he officially died from complications from the hormones, from the estrogen. So cross-sex hormone therapy killed him. And obviously this is heartbreaking for the family. Like, a missing seat, or an empty seat at his sister's weddings. No more Mother's Day cards. And it's just heartbreaking for the family. It's unbelievable. And it's just because society told him that he struggled because he's trans. This is why we need to fight against gender ideology, and this is why we need to fight for people on the spectrum. And him being autistic and potentially having regret, just suspected, not even confirmed, is why I've included him in his story in this series. But this is a family that has been shattered because of a lie that is continuing to hurt more and more people on the spectrum, both diagnosed and not. This is something we have to keep fighting against. Transgenderism is the enemy of the autism spectrum, the biggest one we have ever faced. Islam couldn't do this much damage to us. So we have to fight this with everything we have, and we got to understand that God makes us the way we are for a reason. With the great gifts that we have, like the one Dominick had, Rubik's Cube solving, I mean, I couldn't do that. And the sex that we were born as. He wanted to be a father at one point, and transgenderism took over his brain like a forever potion from My Street, and then killed him because of the cross-sex hormones. And again, we have to put an end to this. This cannot continue. Too many people have been harmed. Too many families have been shattered. It's about time we actually stand up and fight back. We can't let these transgender temptations continue to ruin us. This could have happened to me. This could happen to anybody, especially if you're on the autism spectrum. If you're on the spectrum, you're a target. Even if you just believe you're on the spectrum, even if you don't actually know it, even if you're just suspected to be on the spectrum, you're still a target. We got to actually fix this. We got to get people on the spectrum, great friends, good people to hang around, like-minded people to hang around, and people that'll help us achieve the goals that we were made to achieve. And this is what the Autistic Freedom Network, of course, aims to do. And I worked on it last night. I got 2 more forms that I'm going to post on the website, so do stay tuned for that. But yeah, we're going to save the spectrum, and because this story will repeat itself over and over again, and we cannot have that. So yeah, that was day 248. I'll see you on day 249. Thank you very much for watching this video. God bless you. God bless the autistic spectrum, and God bless America. Goodbye.